The Ukrainian flag in Pokrovsk. The soldiers of the 425th Separate Assault Regiment Skelia cleared the city council building in Pokrovsk, Donetsk region, of Russian invaders and raised the Ukrainian flag over it. The regiment's press service reported this on Telegram and released a video in which the soldiers talk about the combat operation in the city. As previously reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, there is no encirclement of Defense Forces units in Pokrovsk. Measures are being taken to block the enemy, who is trying to infiltrate the city. At the same time, 1,200 civilians remain in Pokrovsk. Evacuation is practically impossible due to the security situation. This was reported by the Donetsk Regional Military Administration. They are working in places where for a person to pass means certain death. When the road is mined or under fire, remotely controlled vehicles are sent instead of people. Such robots are operated by the Unmanned Systems Company of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. And one of these crews is commanded by a sergeant with the call sign Bullet. Our correspondent Kairina Podlenko asked about the preparation and planning of missions and how these platforms are changing evacuation under fire. More on this in the report.
My call sign is Bullet. I am the commander of the logistics team in the VLEPS platoon of the 2nd Assault Battalion of the 3rd Assault Brigade.
She is 21 years old. She joined the military last year as a UAV operator. Today, she is responsible for the crew, logistics, and evacuation of the wounded.
We try to delegate as much work as possible to robots so that we can minimize the risk of losing our personnel. We have the amount of cargo transported in a year, 300,000 kilograms. That's just our platoon for the battalion. If you break it down by day, that's about 800 kilograms per day. I don't remember the exact number anymore, but we calculated that it would require 41 people per day.
The girl only recently became the crew commander. She says all operations are planned thoroughly and quickly because the soldiers understand that every second is worth its weight in gold.
Lately, there have been so many of them that I remember each one quite clearly, because every time a wounded soldier arrives at the designated point where we are required to bring him, the moment stands out in my mind. Each arrival is significant, and the process of bringing the injured soldier to the place where he is supposed to be taken always leaves a strong impression on me. And we get feedback that everything is fine with the soldier. Everyone is just like, hooray! That's why it always stands out for us. There were cases when wounded soldiers were brought to us, and our medic, who was with us at the position, provided all the necessary assistance right there. And at the same time, we were driving and flying around. And it was actually a pretty cool experience because we had this mini stabilization point. Her
first combat mission was also the evacuation of a wounded soldier. However, the soldier did not survive that time.
It was scary, not because of the command aspect, but because it was the evacuation of a wounded soldier. Everything we had to do, the guys and I did quickly and correctly. Basically, there was experience, not bad, but a sad one. It was a very serious casualty, and unfortunately, he bled out on the way. Back then, it happened like this. The evacuation vehicle would arrive, and my comrade and I were ready to provide him with medical assistance before transferring him to the next stage of evacuation. We arrive and we see, unfortunately, he's already gone.
The girl doesn't hide that there are moments of despair, but her comrades help her hold on.
You get tired, something isn't working out, and you're like, damn, that's it, I can't do it. But basically, I tell myself, stop, I'm in the army, a lot depends on me. And basically, as they say, we pull ourselves together. Plus, again, friends nearby help a lot, just talking with them. My comrades, basically, they former infantrymen and assault troops. They have experienced much more, indeed. Sometimes I listen to their stories and I just sit there. God, I'm serving with legends.
As for equipment, the bullet robots work where there are no roads and the enemy is close.
Now everyone understands perfectly well that, especially now, there is increased activity of enemy UAVs. And sometimes we can't even drive up because as soon as we approach, all this commotion starts right away, and so we have to rescue. Also, it's about the equipment itself and not exposing the infantry to the risk of being hit when we drive up.
There are different systems, from fast platforms to a powerful crawler that can go where people can't pass anymore.
This big 700-kilogram Rex is such an awesome machine. I really like it as a logistics tool, I have to say. Its carrying capacity is 500 kilograms. For example, getting an armored vehicle in there, it's not just impossible, it's almost unreal. So you either go there by walking on foot, but again, that's slow, it's hard, and it's dangerous for us. That's all.
Providing the infantry with supplies or evacuating a wounded soldier means supporting those who have it the hardest.
It's important to understand that the work, no robot at this point or in the near future will be able to match or fully equal an infantryman or an assault trooper on the battlefield, because this is an extremely difficult and demanding job.
Karina Podlinko, Valery and Volodymyr Sityuk, Rada TV channel for the main summary.
Russian energy infrastructure is under drone attacks. Last night, a facility in the suburbs of Vladimir was attacked. In addition, a series of powerful explosions occurred near the CHP plant in the Russian city of Orel. Russian telegram channels report that less than a kilometer from the Orel CHP plant, there is a defense enterprise that manufactures equipment for servicing and evacuating military vehicles. The Orel CHP plant had already been attacked by defense forces on the night of October 31st with Neptune missiles. At that time, the Ukrainian Navy reported that this combined heat and power plant had been put out of operation. Fresh soldiers for Putin's friend. North Korea has sent 5,000 construction troops to Russia. This was reported by South Korean intelligence. The official purpose of the North Koreans' visit is to help restore infrastructure. It is known that Moscow has already used soldiers from North Korea in combat operations on its own territory, while traditionally denying their involvement. According to Seoul's estimates, at least 600 North Korean soldiers have been killed in the war and thousands more have been wounded. Now, Pyongyang has been sending new soldiers since September, with up to 5,000 arriving. In exchange for manpower, North Korea receives technology, energy, and food from Putin. This allows North Korea to circumvent international sanctions imposed over Pyongyang's nuclear and missile programs. Belgium, together with the European Commission, will hold a crisis meeting amid disputes over Russian assets. Politico reports that negotiations on this issue are scheduled to take place this Friday. During the discussions, the parties will try to find a way out of the deadlock regarding the use of the aggressor country's frozen funds to finance a 140 billion euros reparations loan for Ukraine. This money is held at the Brussels-based financial company Euroclear. Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever fears that they will find themselves in a crisis situation if they do not make this decision. And if Moscow decides to sue over this and demands compensation, the politician is now asking European capitals to protect them from financial and legal risks. On the other hand, if the decision is not made, the European Commission warns the governments of EU countries that they will have to pay from their own state budgets. There are no spare funds in Europe after the economic damage caused by the COVID pandemic. At the same time, according to Politico, if the funds do not arrive at all by next spring, Ukraine will face a budget deficit.